A corridor of cliffs.
It's stunningly beautiful.
World-famous recreation.
If you like to fish, you like to hunt, doesn't get much better than this.
And unmatched scenery year-round.
Just look around. I mean, it's some of the prettiest country on the forest and in Idaho, I think.
Winter, spring, summer, fall. Experience the seasons of Palisades.
It's every bit as wild as we often see in Alaska or really wild places, and it's right here just outside Idaho Falls.
Funding for Outdoor Idaho is made possible by the Friends of Idaho Public Television, by the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moores' legacy of helping to build the great state of Idaho, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
There are special places in the state that are cherished by locals and given a name that loosely defines the region. Palisades is one of those places. Hi, I'm Bruce Reichert, and welcome to Outdoor Idaho. You know, I was captivated by this region years ago when I backpacked into the upper Palisades Lake near the Idaho-Wyoming border. Beautiful, accessible, reasonably protected, all adjectives that could define the heart of Palisades.
In eastern Idaho, there's a region of remarkable beauty and appeal. And it's centered here in the Palisades Ranger District of the Caribou-Targhee National Forest.
Palisades kind of tells the story. Palisades means cliffy areas. We have lots of high, rugged cliffs. You see them along the South Fork of the Snake.
The South Fork of the Snake River is the most famous feature in the district. It's a trout haven producing estimates of more than 5,000 fish per mile.
They're here. May not be able to catch them sometimes, but they're here.
Boaters are on this stretch year-round. And the famous Fall Creek Falls is a landmark they notice right away. The falls flow over a mass of limestone that developed along a fault line, creating a sparkling display. Upstream from the falls, the waters of the Snake River pool at Palisades Reservoir. It supplies water for irrigators and power for utilities. Beyond the reservoir and the river is unmatched scenery. Steep canyons, thick forests, and a view all the way to the Tetons. Only a few dozen Forest Service employees keep tabs on more than 400,000 acres of wildland in this region. The Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Reclamation, and private landowners are also part of the picture. They all have to work with the throngs of people who come here for recreation and the wildlife that call this area home.
We believe in trying to get a lot of different things out of these 442,000 acres, and I think we do that a lot. You can't always do it on the same acre, but you do it across the landscape.
The best way to understand this ecosystem is to see Palisades during each season. And there's no better time to start than the season of renewal, spring.
A lot of people in southeast Idaho talk about the spring and the mud season as a time that they don't want to be here. It's the primo time of the year when everything's happening.
The ground is losing its dull shades and becoming a kaleidoscope of greens. The skies are full of promising moisture as rain-loaded clouds cross over newly planted crops. Animals are shaking off bulky winter coats, And circling above it all is the prized possession of the Palisades Ranger District.
The eagles are back. We get to go see old friends, see what's happening at nest sites.
Bald eagle lead researcher Michael Whitfield is on a mission, one he started pursuing 3 decades ago. It's a mission that defines his life's work: bald eagle recovery in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem.
I think people recognize the bald eagle for the majesty that it is. The fact that it's our national symbol wasn't an accident. Bald eagles are symbols of the wildness of this place. They're the top of the food chain. They're at the apex in terms of the wild nature of eastern Idaho. So I think we need to do all we can to sustain this resource.
The resource is the South Fork of the Snake River inside the Palisades Ranger District. It's a stronghold for the nation's symbol of freedom.
There are birds out here that we banded when they were youngsters in nests that are now in their mid to late 20s. So every spring there's that anticipation of going out and seeing if such and such eagle is still around, if they're still successfully nesting, and if they've survived, and trying to visit those old friends.
Old friends like this pair. They're using a nest that has been in this Palisades fir since the mid-1980s.
Okay, my on belay.
On the way.
Climbing.
Belay on.
Sue Miller, a climber since college, is Whitfield's field biologist. She takes to the trees for the birds.
It's a totally unique experience. I think it's a great honor to interact with them in a very special way.
Okay, on belay.
Her technique is suited more for scaling rock, but with a few adjustments, she easily scrambles over branches instead of boulders.
What do you got, Sue?
One young. He's still got some downy feathers and some pin feathers coming in. Kind of a skunk stripe eagle.
Once topside, distractions come from every direction. The parents take flight, but never lose sight of their baby.
The parents fly around above the nest a lot. Sometimes they'll perch nearby and they're constantly complaining at you, making a lot of loud vocalizations while you're there and waiting for you to leave.
Miller handles the eaglet with extreme care as she wraps it in a canvas bag for descent.
They are fragile. You can damage some of their wing feathers if you don't handle them right.
The baby bird is lowered in slow zip-line fashion. Whitfield is waiting at the end of the line.
Got him.
While Whitfield works on banding the bird, Miller stays in the tree, swaying for up to an hour, waiting on the return trip.
If it's a calm day, I just enjoy the view, looking out across the reservoir, just enjoy a really unique perspective.
A perspective that only comes from the success of recovering such an amazing animal. When Whitfield started banding baldies, they were on the endangered species list. Nesting pairs were rare, with only 12 in the Palisades area. Now there are at least 80 nesting pairs here.
There's just tremendous habitat here. There's also a lot of places that are still somewhat wild, places where bald eagles can be successful and not be disturbed and do their thing.
Hundreds of bald eagles are wearing trackable bands courtesy of Whitfield.
Oh boy, this is a color morph.
But in all his years, this is the first color variation recorded at Palisades Reservoir.
This is an unusual coloration on young bald eagles. Look at that white talon.
Bald eagles usually don't show any white until they are 5.
Okay, I'm just going to sit him in your lap like this. Okay.
This female is variegated right down to her two-toned talons.
They're just a majestic bird. I'm entranced. The more I watch them, the more mystery there is and the more I want to learn. And starting to feel like after 30 years I'm starting to understand them a little bit, and so there's a lot more to learn.
Measurements are taken in a delicate way.
That's a very beautiful bird. It's very unusual. It's called pied plumage.
The birds where we've banded have typically had high success ratios in subsequent years. In fact, it seems like there's some indication that maybe they have an experience of having these nasty humans come and then being driven away by all of their vocalizations, and they've actively defended the nest. The youngsters are still okay. They've got some new bracelets and they're off and running.
I got her. We're bringing her back, Sue. There we go. Okay, she's in the bag.
Up top, where Miller is still nestled in the delicate weave of an eagle home, the bag of birds slides over the rim. Miller carefully unwraps the new, fragile feathered bird of prey and lets it settle in. This is the last time anyone will touch this bird. Its band will provide a tracking system for monitoring from afar.
Hopefully I'll see this one we banded today again someday.
Bald eagles are after the same thing anglers come here for: fish. Trout are the mainstay of the South Fork of the Snake, and this river is the heart of the Palisades Ranger District. And in the summer, rising fins attract eager fishermen to these bountiful waters.
Fish on.
There's no place else where you find these fish in the kind of numbers that we have here. It's pretty special. I mean, people come from all over the world to fish the South Fork.
That's the Snake River cutthroat. I've been down to Chile, I've been up to Alaska, and still nothing beats this canyon on the South Fork. For the cutthroats, the rainbows, the browns, it's just enjoyable.
I love the South Fork. You know, Idaho is just one of those states that has just got some very, very unique and special rivers to it.
Back to river left.
We can get quite a few of them coming out now. It's a river that has about 26 miles, but there's no cars, there's no noise. The serenity that you can get on this river is just second to none. And one of those little sow bugs.
Lemoyne Hyde and his son Matt fished the South Fork a few days a week during peak season.
You can see him.
Right up the drop off.
They know this river as well as they know each other.
There's one.
He knows if I make a bad cast, I know if he makes a bad cast.
Here comes Matt.
The oar's in the wrong spot.
Cut bow.
Then we kind of know what's going on between each other, so it makes it really fun that way.
Beautiful fish. To be with your son, it's just one of those things that is priceless. Pretty good, kid.
Over there.
That's what makes the South Fork, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fishermen visit the streams of Palisades every summer, but when it comes to the water, farms have higher priority than fish. And yet changes along the river are now helping fish without hurting farms. Pivots continue to pump water into fields, but fish no longer wash into those same fields along with the water.
They're sucking quite a bit of water off of this stream every year for irrigation purposes. If we can eliminate those fish from being lost, that's a big deal.
Trout Unlimited spent $6 million over the last decade improving flow for fish and farmers. New passageways like this fish-friendly diversion improve irrigation efficiency while still allowing trout to reach their spawning grounds and then return to the main channel.
It is worth it, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question in my mind that it's worth it. We're seeing those glimmers of hope, or the first signs of things are starting to look better.
New female.
As those glimmers of hope migrate to and from the main channel,
380.
Idaho Fish and Game takes a good look at them. Cutthroat trout are sent upstream to spawn. Rainbows are pulled out of the system and sent to a kid's pond.
490.
It's an effort to keep rainbows from cross-breeding with cutthroats, the native fish.
New female.
The plan is so aggressive there is no limit on the number of rainbows an angler can keep.
We've done such a good job at demonstrating the benefits of a catch and release fishery that now it's hard for folks to realize that there are times when harvesting fish is actually a good thing.
Landing a rainbow is tricky. Talking a fisherman into keeping it is even trickier.
Oh, I release them. You know, they've been a family friend for a long time. I love the way they dance. I know that's kind of what the fishing game don't want, but it's hard to get rid of a friend.
Male, new, We haven't won the battle, but we've made a difference, and I believe it's something that we can continue to do.
He's 443.
And keep cutthroat around for the long term. So that's why I'd rank it number one, because if we failed, it would be because of lack of effort.
This is the Palisades Ranger District Trail Crew. No one accuses them of lacking effort.
We're more or less kind of the caretakers of the forest.
They haul the tools of their trade everywhere they go. Their commute is long and steep, but free of traffic jams.
It is hard work, but your commute to work is by horseback. You're not dealing with traffic lights or a lot of signage or whatever else. It's just a very peaceful experience, and that's a good day.
They live in the woods for 8 days at a time. Big Elk Creek is their tour of duty for this shift, all 12 miles of it.
It can be hard work. You got to have a kind of a different idea of what you like to do to be out here. I've had some kids that thought they wanted to be trail hands, and it just wasn't their cup of tea.
Palisades has more than 500 miles of multi-use trail.
If you didn't come in here and cut and open these trails up, keep them open up, they'd close, basically. And you see that in some forests where they don't keep trail crews.
These trail crews cut 5 miles of new trail every summer. That's the heavy work. They also clean up 150 miles of trail annually. And despite what it looks like, this is considered light duty.
I would say you definitely sweat. You put in hard work, but it also feels good for your body too.
Yeah, you got it.
So you get an exercise on working at the same time in a beautiful place.
There you go. Now you're that'll make that a whole lot better. Them horses always banging their knee right on that deal before.
This out-of-office experience is less than glamorous, but the view, it's as close to glorious as it gets.
Just look around. I mean, it's some of the prettiest country on before us, and in Idaho, I think. It's what I like, to be in the woods.
Big Elk is beautiful because the creek, you have water here, and right now the kokanees are actually running. You can see the redfish in the water, so it's pretty cool.
The scenic rewards surrounding this sturdy bunch are immediate. Other rewards reveal themselves later on down the dusty trail.
I think the most rewarding thing is seeing people use the trail after you've worked on it, whether it's horse packers or hikers or mountain bikers. Then you know that people are out using the forest.
Charles Kavanaugh is one of those users. But he's not here for fish. He's here for Idaho's official state fruit, the huckleberry.
They're sweet, real super sweet and very nutritious.
Most huckleberry pickers border on the fanatical, and getting them to divulge the exact location of their favorite huckleberry patch is virtually impossible.
You won't see me for a few minutes here in the trees, but I'll break out above them.
But Charles Kavanaugh is feeling generous today. Just don't ask for those GPS coordinates. The most common huckleberry species in Idaho is the black or thin-leafed huckleberry. And the best time to look for them? August through September.
Look at the huckleberries bushes have turned red.
Huckleberries were designated the state fruit in 2000. And even today, after a century of failed attempts to domesticate this hardy plant, scientists will tell you the best way to see and eat huckleberries is out here in the wild.
It's pleasure walking up the hill. It's nothing but pleasure.
The huckleberries begin to peek through the leaves, an open invitation for this old picker. Kavanaugh starts stripping the branches of berries with his weathered hands. At first, he eats his harvest as fast as he picks it.
Gone. You can always go and repeat it.
Then he settles into the patch and collects his find for the trip home. Huckleberry etiquette demands that pickers leave some for the wildlife.
And if a bear comes around you, like has happened several times, You go about your own picking and let the bear go about his own picking. And he will not bother you unless you're in the middle of his patch. Ooh, they're pretty ripe and soft.
And luckily, there's more than enough here for this 90-year-old collector and any bears nearby.
Yeah, I put it between my legs to hold it and then fill it with berries. Over 200 berries will give you enough to cover the bottom of the bucket. I picked a bucket and a half one day. It's difficult, but it can be done.
10,000 berries make a pound.
Sometimes I count the berries to pass the time.
Kavanaugh can pick 40,000 berries, or 4 pounds, in about 2 hours.
And you get 200 or 300, you get sick of counting.
2 hours hunched over in the huckleberries to fill just one coffee can.
Boy, they're good.
And that's steady picking without distractions. And just listening to him talk about his harvest.
Boy, I can feel my stomach growing.
Stirs your appetite.
That's huckleberries. And look at the surroundings. You can't beat that. I can live forever in this environment.
Just over the ridge from Kavanaugh's cache is a recent burn, one started on purpose. Prescribed burns are common in the fall in Palisades.
We try and restore fire to the ecosystem in a controlled way.
The burns are part of modern-day forest management. A decline in aspen across the west is the reason. New shoots need a disruption in the dirt to sprout, and fire is one way to stir everything up. It reduces pine density, allowing aspen to regenerate. Grazing is also part of this forest plan. There are 17 cattle permits and 26 sheep permits in Palisades. Livestock coming off of summer range are rounded up and pushed out of every drainage in the district, with winter following close on their hooves. It doesn't take long for winter to wrap its withering hold around this watershed. And when it does, Palisades is no place for the timid.
Today might be iffy with the ice flow.
Extreme temperatures well below zero make for extreme beauty, where only the boldest of the outdoor users dare to venture.
Very white, very bright. The sun's out. The trees are just beautiful with frost on them. Cliffs and wildlife everywhere.
Palisades is prime winter range. The canyon stretch of the South Fork is closed to motorized use in the winter. Come in on snowshoes and you'll see why.
It's away from everything. Animals have tons of roaming ground up here, and it's untouched by people during the winter. The few of us that are willing to put on the snowshoes and come see them, I guess.
In the winter, the real value of the corridor is revealed. The South Fork supports, in a heavy year, upward 2,500 mule deer, and no one sees them. No one comes in here, and that's exactly why the wildlife are here. They're looking at south-facing slopes where they can easily get down through the snow and find forage. They're also looking for seclusion.
More than 20,000 acres are protected along the river. $50 million in easements on almost 100 pieces of private property create an intact corridor. The fawns who survive the snow season here are the largest in the state. They're nearly double the weight of those born on the other side of Idaho. They're built for extreme cold. And so are the people who pass through this country when it's frozen.
It's definitely worth it. I mean, as you can see around us, it's beautiful out here.
I think this is a place that deserves some respect. as long as people are willing to respect it, then I think they should come enjoy it as well.
Winter, spring, summer, fall. The Palisades Ranger District shimmers in all seasons. Each season reveals unique treasures to visitors who love this pristine playground and those who appreciate the amazing wildlife that call this place home.
Funding for Outdoor Idaho is made possible by the Friends of Idaho Public Television, by the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moores legacy of helping to build the great state of Idaho, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.